Hello, welcome back to ManVFilm. It's time for another Blu-ray pickup. You've probably seen most of these titles if you watched my HMV live stream. A lot of the titles here, well, were suggested by you guys, so I'm very lacking in knowledge in a lot of these, but hopefully I've picked up some winners. There's some classics in here that I really should have seen before, and there are two surprises if you watch that live stream, which we'll get to. So first up, we've got Night Moves, which stars Gene Hackman. This was a kind of LA detective story, if I remember rightly. He goes looking for a girl and stumbles onto a murder case, which sounds something that's completely up my alley. I like the idea of that. I love Hackman, particularly in the 70s, 80s era that he did so well. And yeah, it was one that you guys kind of pushed upon me, as well you did with the Maltese Falcon. One of those movies that I said I had never seen, and it's funny how you get movies like this, and there's another one which is next up as well, where you just feel like you've heard a lot about them, that you've almost seen it, but you've never actually sat down and watched the movie. And I really feel like I need to cross this off the list at some point. I do like Bogart. I love these kind of movies. I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it at some point. And it was the same with the next one, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, where again, it was, you guys were a little bit shocked I hadn't seen it. You kind of urged me to check it out. I had a few movies of this ilk in the basket, and you guys were like, you know what, hit the biggies, check that out, and then go and see the other ones. So I did exactly what you said. Next up, we have Audrey Hepburn and Alan Arkin in Wait Until Dark. Now, I kind of like the idea of this one, the whole story, where you have a woman who's blind in her house and people are going to go in and rob her. It feels kind of familiar to some other things like See No Evil, or maybe even a little bit like Panic Room or something like that. But I've heard great things. I've heard it's very full of surprises, not to go in knowing anything else and just check it out. So I have got that there. I'm quite excited about that one. It may be one of the first ones I throw on, because the idea of the plot just kind of sparks a lot of curiosity and interest in me. One that I had zero interest in. Going into the HMV sale, didn't think about it, wasn't curious, didn't even give it a second glance, and ultimately, because of you guys in the chat, I took a chance on it, and that is King Creole. A lot of people are saying it's Elvis's best movie. To be honest, Elvis isn't someone that I particularly like or dislike. It's just a kind of entity. I'm really kind of curious about checking this one out now. You know, it's nice to kind of get away from typical movies that you watch, try something outside your comfort zone. I'm interested in this one a lot now that I have it. Next up, one that was in the basket, out the basket, back in the basket, because you guys forced me to get it, was Innocent Blood, John Landis's early 90s movie about vampires and gangsters. Now, I've seen this a long time ago, in the early 90s, so I'm kind of curious about it. I'm going to go back to it. Like I said, it was one that I took out. I wasn't sure. You guys kind of pushed me into that one. Next up, we've got Murder My Sweet, starring Dick Powell, who I've seen recently in another movie that I just can't remember which one for some reason. I was told that this is, you know, a little bit of a film noir, right up my alley, something that I would love, which makes me really excited to check it out. So I'm kind of glad I picked that one up. It's one that a lot of people are saying that just gets overlooked. You know, it doesn't have the most attractive art, it doesn't have a great big reputation, it's easy to bypass. A lot of people were saying that they had looked at it and put it back down and picked something else, so I'm curious to see how that holds up. And finally, one that I was really unsure about, I had it in the last sale, I took it out the basket, I almost did it this time, and it's Harper. I had this weird OCD moment where when I was getting Harper, I had to get the Drowning Pool because it was a sequel to the movie. But you know what? I just went for this one. I love Paul Newman. I love kind of mysteries and detective movies and things like that. So I'm going to get it. And that was the 8 titles I bought on the HMV stream. But after I stopped the stream, I went to pay for my purchase. And there was some kind of computer fault. It just wouldn't do it. I had to kind of come out of one browser and go in another type thing. And it was all my basket was saved. And I just had a rush of blood to the head because I took the thing out of my basket. And it was the one thing that I was sure I wanted when I initially started my purchase. But I was trying to keep it to 8 titles or under. Massive fail. Because as soon as I was about to hit purchase in my basket, I went right back in and ordered the thing. I had to have it. I needed it in my collection. I would have been mad not to have it. So I got Howard Hawks' The Thing. And of course, it's 2 for $15. So if you're buying one title, you're better off just getting 2. And I was really swung over by the fact that this is a 4K restoration on the Fatal Attraction disc. I wanted to rewatch it. I had it in my basket and I took it out, and I'm so kind of happy I went back. A little bit overspent, but it's not the end of the world. I'm glad I picked it up. There we go. I got a lot of titles. I managed to pick up a couple of things that I actually wanted, and then everything else was recommended by you guys. I'm looking forward to delving into them, watching them, see what they have to offer, and reviewing them on the channel at some point. I'd love to know if you picked up anything, or massive orders, or was it just a couple of titles, or what I should even look out for in the next premium collection sale. Let me know in the comment box. I'll see you next time on ManVFilm.